Believe that. We're off on the right foot. Nevertheless, the Battle of Stirling Bridge was fought down there in the Great Bend of the River Forth in the year 1297, 715 years ago. The anniversary is September the 11th. It was fought between the forces of England, led by the Earl of Surrey, and the forces of Scotland, led by the great Scottish hero William Wallace. And I know, because I fought here with Wallace at the Battle of Stirling Bridge. But I didn't fight for glory nor gold. I fought to free my country, and in doing so I was obliged to drive out the English. Well, we were occupied by England then. The King of England was a ruthless man, Edward I, the Plantagenet. Aye, a ruthless and ambitious king. But to understand why we were occupied by England, you must understand a wee bit of the history that went before. 10, 11 years before this battle, our king was Alexander III of that name. He was a powerful king. Scotland prospered. He was very friendly with Edward of England, and he married his sister, the Princess Margaret of England, and the country's lived in peace. But then things started to go wrong. Queen Margaret died when she was young. Soon after the death of his queen, Alexander's two sons died, the princes, David and Alexander, the predeceased their father. His daughter, Margaret, married Eric II, the King of Norway, and she died very young as well, not long after giving birth to a daughter called Margaret. Is everybody staying with me so far? Yes. Just about. If you're staying with me, say aye. Aye. Excellent. All we need to do is remember his wee granddaughter in Norway, for the other two are dead. Well, Alexander remarried, but he didn't marry into the court of England. No, he married into the court of France. He married a beautiful fresh lassie, Yolande. Yolande, the Countess of Dreux. But not long after they were married, Alexander had occasion to be at a meeting in Edinburgh with his nobles, and his new bride was about 40 miles along the river down there, the River Forth, away to the east, at a place called Kinghorn, by the sea. Well, after the meeting, Alexander's reputation for hospitality was unrivaled, man. We had a wee drink, boys, you understand. But we didn't drink a lot of whiskey then, brother. We drank the wine, French wine, and plenty of it. Well, Alexander, the king, after a wee glass of claret, too many, led by his heart, ladies, rather than his head, he's decided to cross the river and visit his beautiful new young French bride, eh? What man amongst us can find fault here? He crossed the river, but when he got to this side, well, he rode away ahead of his companions and he was lost. And they found his body the next day, lying on the shores at Kinghorn, flung from the cliffs from his horse. All of Scotland laments. The last of the ancient kings is dead. Because when Alexander died, you see, he was the first king of Scots for many years to die with no sons, nor had he named a male heir. Well, these were dangerous times. Meetings were held with Edward of England, Eric of Norway, and eventually it was decided that the law of primogeniture should take precedence. The law of primogeniture, which I'm sure you're all acquainted with, of course. Well, have I stumbled amongst the heathens? No word of Latin amongst you. Primogeniture, the firstborn, which would mean in context that his wee granddaughter Margaret, you mind of her? Up in Norway there, aye. She's about 7. She's to be brought back and looked after till she's old enough to be the queen. Which does not suit everybody, but here it suits Edward of England. Aye, it suits old Longshanks. Longshanks. I wonder if this lad here, this lad is preoccupied. He knows why they call Edward of England the Longshanks. Obviously, you know why they call Edward of England Longshanks? Oh, because he's a tall man. He's a tall man like that gentleman there, a fine example, if you don't mind, sir. The Edward of England is a handsome man, a tall man with long legs. Sure, pleased over. He's got long legs, you see, so they call him the Longshanks. You must be the Shortshanks. Just for today. Edward of England has taken Wales and Ireland, the third of France in the north. With Alexander there, he looks to take Scotland. It suits his purposes to have a wee girl on the throne, doesn't it? Instead of a strong king, the nobles already squabbled for a throne. And also, he said, when the little girl returns from Norway, she'll be promised in marriage to my son, Edward, the Crown Prince of England, and now they tell me the very first English, Prince of Wales. By that token, he was to take Scotland, but it didn't happen, you see. The wee girl was on a boat between the island of Orkney and the mainland of Scotland when she suddenly fell ill and died. Well, some men say she died of a mysterious disease. Other men say different. Well, I say this, what does it matter what men say, because she's dead, and we can do little about it. But now that she's dead, we need a new king. So they decided to choose by bloodlines to King David the first. Any man of royal blood could claim the throne. 13 men claimed the throne of Scotland. Chaos, you see. And able to make a decision, the nobles went and asked the advice and counsel of their old friend and ally, Edward of England. And after a number of promises which would never be kept, Edward of England was allowed to choose the King of Scots. To show impartiality, you understand, lest there be civil war. Robert Bruce should be king. Edward would not choose Bruce. He's too strong. He wants no strong king on the throne of Scotland. He wants a man he can control. So he chose a man from the south, Galloway, John Balliol. Long live King John! Well, I see this is the New Republic. Well, but John Balliol tried to reinstate old alliance with the French. Edward ordered them to raise an army to fight against France. Balliol refused, but Edward of England doesn't accept. This man, who was our greatest ally and friend in Europe, suddenly became the most violent king of England ever to attack our country. He attacked the town of Berwick-upon-Tweed, where there were no soldiers. Again, there was 11,000 people in Berwick. 2 days later, there were only 3,000 folk. Edward of England allowed his men to massacre 8,000 innocent people in 2 days. Men, women, children, in the streets and the houses and in the churches of God, where they sought sanctuary. Scotorum Malleus, the hammer of the Scots. Well, Balliol attempted to fight him, but was defeated. Exiled to France, and the nobles of Scotland accepted Edward of England as their liege lord and king. English soldiers in every town and village. But that was only a year before this great battle. So what or who happened in a year? William Wallace happened, eh? Have you heard of him? Well, a year before this battle, nobody knew who he was. But they know who he is now. William Wallace was born in a small village in the west called Elderslie. He was from a minor family and he studied to be a priest. But for a man studying to be a priest, he had a very violent temper, and a very quick one. He got in trouble fighting with English soldiers, protecting his own people from their atrocities. He was to be arrested by the Sheriff of Lanark, but he was frightened of Wallace. He decided to burn his house down in the night to kill him. He didn't kill Wallace because he wasn't there, but his wife was, Marion. Aye, when Marion realised what was happening, she ran, but she didn't run fast enough. She was dragged back by English soldiers, flung into a burning building to die. When William Wallace heard about that, he's lost his famous temper, you see. He goes down to Lanark and he slaughters the sheriff. Without thinking, assault on the king's sheriff is an assault on the king. William Wallace became a wanted man, a traitor, a murderer to the English, but to the people of Scotland. This young man becomes legend overnight, this giant of a boy from the west. He kills Englishmen where no one will raise a fist. On his own, but not for long. The men of the south and west have too long been suppressed. He rose up against the English. In the north, they joined Sir Andrew Murray. So when Wallace and Murray met together, well, they had the makings of an army, lassie. Longshanks heard about this. He sent the most powerful army in Europe down there to Stirling, under the command of the Earl of Surrey. The Scottish army come through these hills from the north, to this very place where we are gathered now. This is the Abbey Craig. You can see everything from up here, some days. Well, we could see the English army across the river there. I'd never seen so many men in my life. There were thousands of them. Thousands. And colours. I didn't realise there was that many colours under the sun. With all their banners and flags and pennants, tents, huge marquees, hundreds of men on armoured war horses. I'm not the cleverest man in the wee world, my friend, but I can count. And there was a lot more English than us. But I've been fighting for a wee while now, as you can see, and for my part, I didn't walk for 4 days through these hills to stand here and count Englishmen. I'm not here to count Englishmen, I'm here to kill them. Look at it this way, boys. The more Englishmen there are down there, the more you'll get to kill. I say we count them after the battle.